Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of that FPL show. It's game week 18, a bit of a miserable game week 17 in midweek. It's not been a good sort of week for sports. I think England are down bad in the Ashes, and I think the Premier League was down bad this week. A lot of fixtures called off, and we've got a lot of fixtures called off this upcoming weekend as well. So we've got to plan our teams out wisely. I'm joined today by Rod. How you doing, mate?
I'm not too bad, mate. It's a bit of a weird game week and a bit of a weird feel on the run up to Christmas, but happy to be joined by you, of course, and I'm looking forward to the next game week.
Yeah, it sounds cool. Also joined by Fieldzy. He's making his second appearance on the show. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. Yeah, all things considered, I had a good FPL week, but going forward, it could be probably quite tricky choosing teams now.
Yeah, why don't you start us off then, Jack? Just going through your team in general, because you had a pretty decent week, as did all of us, in reality.
Yeah, so I was quite lucky with what fixtures actually got called off and what didn't. I'm a bit different. I didn't have any Man City players, so actually no, they were still on, weren't they?
Yeah, they beat
I didn't have
Leeds 7-0.
players. I don't have any Man City players, which is a bit of an odd move, but I'd managed to get a full team out without any players missing games. Had to use a few bench players, but I had a few good scorers. I had Watkins, put him in. Salah, Jota. The only thing that really let me down is I think I'm the only one in our league who hasn't got Trent. I had Robertson in at the time because I couldn't afford Trent, and it really pushed me down the league, that one.
Yeah. But I think looking at your defence elsewise, you did have Semedo and Target, who are, I wouldn't say they're the most popular picks, but the return on them is pretty big. 8 from Semedo and 6 from Target. I think you've got Sanchez and goal, who's I guess he's everyone's go-to this year because of his price. But yeah, all in all, pretty decent game week. I guess I'll have a look at my team. Like Jack, I had 61 points, and I also had the 4-point hit for the transfer. I think I actually got unlucky this week. I think I could have had a real decent week, but certain situations actually happened which weren't ideal. I didn't actually have Broha starting, but because Son didn't end up playing, I guess he came in and he delivered the goods with 12 points, which I was ecstatic about. And I was actually fuming at the time because he was on my bench and I was gutted. But players who really let me down, Bernardo Silva picking up the injury, same as Huang. Livermento and Williams both getting 0 points. I was very disappointed in them. I thought at least Norwich would have... I thought they played well against Villa, but I thought they could have kept the clean sheet. So it was unfortunate in that case. I did have Trent and James, who were outstanding at the back, and obviously the big boys, Jota and Salah, who did the work. But Rod, you had the best week out of all of us. You had 4 extra points than us, and you didn't take a hit this week either.
I didn't, and happy days. Finally, a green arrow after weeks of small reds. But yeah, 65 points. Green arrow fired me up to 30k in the world. It's happy days, mate. Trent came in big, scored. They didn't keep a clean sheet, but he took all 3 bonus. Obviously, Jota scoring, probably could have scored more. Mr. Prolific Salah, who's only blanked once in 18 game weeks. Obviously, Watkins 12, James 8, taking all the bonus as well after getting an assist. It was happy days, mate. I wasn't too sure after all the postponements, cancellations, obviously missing Mbeumo, Dennis. I didn't know how the game week was going to go. Bernardo somehow blanked in a 7-0 City win. So I was concerned, but happy days when the big boys, when called upon, produced the goods. So I'm looking forward going into the next game week and how many teams actually play and trying to navigate this tough Christmas period as well as COVID.
Yeah, it's definitely a tough Christmas period. I was a bit, we had more games off than we thought there was going to be this week, Rod. We were pretty sure the United game wasn't going to happen, so we didn't have any United players in, but we had no idea about the Spurs game, really. We thought they would have been back in action, and a lot of teams now struggling with COVID in general. We've got the fixtures coming up this weekend. There's only 5 Premier League games going on, I think. So it's going to be quite hard to get your team ready for this week. Have you made any moves already just because of COVID and certain teams not playing?
I have. I made a move about an hour ago. I put my eggs in 3 baskets, and the move I did make was Embuemo to Foden, so I can field as many players as I can. I will be fielding 10 players minus the goalkeeper, which is annoying. But yeah, Embuemo to Foden, and I think remaining, I have 2.3 million in the bank, so I can use that towards future transfers. But I think the main thing this week is going to be just trying to field as many players as you can, and God knows what's going to happen in the coming days. Where obviously the deadline is tomorrow at 1:30. But after that, there could be just more postponements because Liverpool and Chelsea, Liverpool, Chelsea, and City all play on Sunday. So there's a lot to think about, really. And obviously, Boxing Day fixtures, we've got to try and navigate that. And FPL now, more than ever, is more luck than skill, because if your players are missing, then you're not going to score the points, as Michael Owen would say.
He would definitely say that one. Jack, have you made any moves? Have you got anything in mind yet? Are you looking to maybe even play a free hit?
That did cross my mind, because at the moment, I've got 1 free transfer, but I've got 3 players in my starting 11 who won't be playing. So free hit did cross my mind, but I think I'll still save it for when it comes to double game weeks, where with all these sort of cancellations and postponements, there could be some going forward quite tasty double game weeks that could happen in the future. But my last transfer was taking out Ronaldo because of that postponement, which had left me a lot of money sitting in the bank. So I was thinking of maybe getting Antonio out, who will be missing, and maybe putting in quite a big striker so that going forward it could be quite an easy person to take out, and maybe going forward get Ronaldo back in or a big striker back in. But I haven't made. I think I'm going to wait until the last minute I can, because with the last game week, quite a few postponements happen quite late on.
Yes.
So I don't want to put anyone in and have that game week cancelled as well. So
yeah, I completely understand. I'm exactly the same. I'm not confident enough yet to know who exactly is playing, and I don't think anyone can be. And I'm probably going to leave mine just before I go to the train with Rod to go watch Villa tomorrow. So that's my plan of action anyway. I don't know. I'm looking at. I can't remember the fixtures off but I think I've got a few players who could be playing, especially if Cancelo's back from his suspension. Anyway, boys, I just wanted to get on to some of the results from this previous game week. A bit of an interesting one. I think certain teams came out to play, other teams didn't. Talking about Leeds. We'll start off in that City game. Is there actually anything to take away from this game other than Bielsa's stubbornness, Rod?
It's obviously Leeds are missing a hell of a lot of players, but that they're going to have to deal with it, and they're going to be fielding out under 23s, under 18s, because their squad is purely just so small. But yeah, Bielsa's stubbornness to simply just keep playing the way he is and not adapt. And it was City's night, and they just went a bit mental. And 7-0 it's a huge scoreline.
Yeah, but both directions as well, both for City and Leeds, with the goal difference potentially could come into play this season. Who knows?
Huge factor, especially in regards to City's point total, because they're going to be up there with a similar point total to Liverpool, and we know Liverpool like scoring goals and score goals with ease. So City getting those extra 7 on the goal difference tally, I think it's going to be quite decisive come the end of the year.
Yeah, I totally agree. Jack, did you catch this game, and what did you think?
I've seen the highlights, and going on the same sort of point that Rod's made, that when I saw the first one went in after 8 minutes, I was like, please, Leeds, can you just hold them to sort of a low goal difference? Because I reckon come the end of it, that 7-0 is really has hurt Liverpool, I reckon, even though Liverpool seemed to score for fun, but that has really boosted Manchester City. And it seems like any lineup Pep chooses, no matter what players they have, they get a result out. They didn't even play with a striker, I don't think, and they still scored 7.
Yeah, man.
I think it's just to how Pep gets his players ready, I guess.
I was really disappointed in Leeds, to be honest, because you know, they were getting stuffed, and they were still doing stupid things like, you know, chasing after the ball and just leaving their man wide open. I think, I don't know if it's going to be Bielsa in for the rest of the season or not. I think they'll keep him just because of his stature in the game and how respected he is. But I don't think that's probably the right decision. I'm not sure who's out there for him to get if they were. It seems like I'm always going on about sacking managers. I'm like the opposite of Gary Neville. No one should get sacked. I'm like, sack them fucking all. But yeah, with Leeds, they haven't got the players to play the style Bielsa wants to play to the level he wants to play it at. And when they come up against teams who they just need to get in the trenches, sit deep, try and hit them on the break, do everything they can, they play stupid football still. And for me, I was kind of really disappointed with Leeds. I think they got a lot more to offer with the personnel in their squad. I don't think the Bielsa system necessarily suits them. I think last season they got away with it because it was a shock to most teams. This year they've definitely been found out. I think they could be in trouble this season. We have to wait and see, because obviously they got players come back, who are coming back now from injury, and it's going to be an interesting one. But I guess we'll move on. Rod, I wasn't going to talk about this game, but I want to hear from you. It was Dean Smith going up against his old team, Aston Villa. What did you think of this one, mate?
I thought we were absolutely brilliant, albeit against a Port Norwich team who looked discombobulated. But I thought everything was flowing. The passing was intricate. We were creating chances, and both goals just showed just how attacking we are and how well we look going forward. And obviously it's nice for two academy graduates to get a goal contribution each, where obviously Jacob Ramsey went on a brilliant run, putting it into the corner with his left foot, and Carney Chukwuemeka putting a great ball into Ollie Watkins. So I think the future is definitely bright, and for me it was a brilliant performance from start to finish, and I felt like we dominated and restricted Norwich to minimal chances. And I think for Dean Smith it's an uphill struggle to whether he can keep them in the division, because going off that game they were poor, and Cantwell wouldn't help Williams one bit. Williams was against Cash and Buendia all night, and he was struggling. But I'm very happy with the result, and I'm looking forward to going into the game tomorrow against Burnley.
Yeah, as am I. Jack, did you catch the highlights in this one?
No, I watched it actually. It was recently I've been really enjoying Aston Villa's football, and I've only seen them getting better and better. The last three games I've seen them, they seem to have adapted to Gerrard's style of play incredibly quickly. Whereas in the first couple of games, they tended to pass on the back every opportunity, and it was getting them into a lot of trouble. And now recently, especially in this Norwich game, they just looked so much more ease, and they developed a good understanding of when to actually get rid of it.
Yeah.
So I can just see him getting better and better under Gerrard. And they're a really exciting team to watch. And I thought that if they can keep all their players fit and keep a same back four, then going forward, I think they're quite a good team, and I think they can do a good charge at the table. I thought Buendia played quite well, actually. I don't know about you, Rob, being a Villa fan, if you think that he's lived up to his price tag, but I thought he was quite a neat little player.
I think he's definitely coming into his own, and with each game he's getting more confidence, and he's been carrying a bit of a niggle. That's why he played minimal at Liverpool, and obviously he got kicked a few times at Norwich. So hopefully see him tomorrow. But he's definitely becoming the player we all thought he was going to be, where he's just a good little dribbler, keeps the ball well, threads the passes, and he's an asset to the team 100%. And I do look forward to seeing more of him. And he's a very tidy player, like you said, Jack Field.
Yeah, I just want to cut in on there. Obviously, with Villa, I do think, if it was between, letting Grealish go, but getting the players you brought in or keeping them, I think you made the right move, because I'm so impressed with the squad, and even young players coming through. You're looking at Ramsey in midfield, and apparently he's not even the best brother. Apparently his brother, Aaron Ramsey, not the Welshman, is actually the better of the two, Rod, potential-wise. But I've been so impressed with him. Is it Jacob Ramsey, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Yeah, so impressive. The goal he scored against Norwich was a brilliant move. I think your squad's got talent everywhere, both players who are a bit older and a bit more experienced, like the likes of Mings. Then you've got your younger players like Konza. It's same with like McGinn in midfield. He's a bit more experienced. Then you've got Douglas Luiz and Jacob Ramsey. I just think the squad's in a really good place right now, Rod.
100%, and like you said, I think we've got quality all across the pitch, and even right now we've got a lot of people out. We've got Nakamba out, Bertrand Traore out, Bailey, Sanson, Keenan Davis. So we've got a lot of players out, but the quality it's still there and it is prominent. And I'm just really happy with how things are going. And Gerrard, I wasn't too sure of him to start with, and I'll be the first one to throw my hands up about that. But he's really convincing me now, and the style of football he's got playing. Well, got Villa playing. I haven't seen it in years, probably since the Martin O'Neill days. It's just exciting, free-flowing, attacking football. And as a football fan, that's exactly what you want to see.
Yeah, the last thing I just want to ask you is how good of a signing was Ashley Young, by the way? I think he's been really good for you guys since he's come in. And I think for the free transfer, not only for his performances on the pitch, but what he must be adding to that dressing room. Played for the club beforehand, so he's familiar with the place, but he also went on to do some great things with United, Rod.
100%, and he brings that level head. He's got huge experience, so the young players can learn off him, and he can cover a range of positions. Like we've seen him cover central midfield, left wing, left back. So it's huge for us, and he's a 50-50 whether he's fit for tomorrow. But he's just quite a versatile player, and he can do a job wherever. And he's a well-conditioned pro, and it's good to have him back.
Yeah, I totally agree. Just before we move on to the next game, because we're going to skip the Wolves and Crystal Palace game, on the Southampton game, I just want to say, I think Chelsea could have done with that Burrow, man. He looks like the real deal. What a goal. And he won the free kick as well for Southampton. He looks like a real player to me. Next game I want to talk to you guys about is the Arsenal West Ham game, Rod. And you said to me after the game, you said that you think they could really fight for top four.
I think for me, they outclassed West Ham. I thought they were much the better team. And West Ham, they're a team who are going to be up there come the end of the year. We've seen how good they can be and the performances they have put in. And they're going to be fighting for that top four position after obviously getting Europa League last year. And Arsenal are beginning to convince me more. I think Arteta is doing good things there. And obviously they've got players like Martinelli, who's come in, done very well. I didn't expect him to do this well. I've got obviously Smith Rowe. Lacazette, I don't know what's going on with Aubameyang. They've got Odegaard. So for me, they're going in the right direction. And I wrote them off at the start of the season. And then obviously when they do face a team like Chelsea or Liverpool or Man City, they do struggle. But they're not going to be the teams they're battling for that fourth position with. They're going to be battling it with the likes of United, Spurs, Leicester, West Ham, etc. And I think they're going in the right direction, so I will not be surprised if they keep doing this.
Jack, do you have anything to offer to Rod? I actually disagree with you, Rod, but I want to let Jack get his word in first.
I like watching Arsenal play. I think they play a real good style of football, and I think Arsenal have kind of gone under the radar a bit, and I think they, especially with all the top teams that they've beaten in their sort of where they want to aim for, that top four, maybe fifth, sixth. I think they beat Spurs, they beat Leicester, West Ham, like all these teams. But I think it goes into more the headlights Arsenal when they lose to Everton or draw against Brighton. So they seem to be losing some of the games that they should be winning, but seem to be beating all the teams around them.
Yes.
So I think they're quite a hard team to predict.
Yeah.
Where they're heading, but you can't argue that they did dominate West Ham, and with the other teams, like for example Leicester, when they beat them 2-0 as well, I thought they dominated them as well. So, saying that, I think they will finish above those teams because they are beating them, and they're the crunch games. But if it comes down to games where they've lost where they should have won, then they should be kicking themselves.
Yeah, I agree with that, Jack. The way I see Arsenal, first of all, I want to say, Arsenal deserved to win this one. They were better. I think West Ham, I don't know why, but obviously I knew they beat Chelsea recently, but that was the game week before. So last game week they actually drew 0-0 with Burnley, and I wasn't too impressed with that performance. And here I wasn't very impressed with them at all. I'm not sure if they're on a bit of a blip or not, but obviously we know what they're capable of this season because they put in some superb performances like against Chelsea and others. But I just thought that in this game the officiating was absolute dog shit. The rules of the game are not clear enough. I don't know how the first one's even a yellow for Kufau. Like, you're not even... to me, Arsenal players were trying to get him sent off for that because they're soft. I just really didn't agree with that. And also the second one for the penalty, he gets the ball first. I mean, we saw stuff like that with Alisson, where obviously it's not the foot, but it was a hand with Alisson getting Watkins. Wasn't a penalty, but against West Ham it was a penalty. And I kind of feel like it was big team bias in that one. So I really just didn't agree with it, Rod. And in terms of Arsenal, I just don't understand this whole thing with Arsenal where people... They win a game and all of a sudden everyone thinks, oh yeah, they can do it. But time and time again, they've just proven to us, I feel like, that they're big time bottle jobs. I think the team actually lacks a spine of like leadership, I'd say. I was looking at the Arsenal team and they was talking about how Aubameyang has been stripped of captaincy because of he's doing some shit wrong. And Arteta didn't like it. But I just felt like, looking at the team, I didn't really see a real leader out there on the pitch for him. I was going, who the hell are you going to give it to? I just didn't... I like, a lot of young players in the squad, and I know they're developing. I'm sure they'll be great in the future. But like of Xhaka, I don't really trust him. I just don't see how this team is capable of even touching top four. Rob?
I don't know.
I find it... Oh, sorry, Rod.
Sorry, Fieldzy. I feel like that is a fair opinion, and obviously we're 18 games in, so we're almost at the halfway point. And I think I'm going to look at the table now quickly, but correct me if I'm wrong. I think they're up in that position now. I think.
Yes, they are. They've played 17 and they're on, what are they on? 29 points. United on played 16 and are on 27. I do see United finishing above them just because if United get into some form, where am I now? Yeah, if United can get into some form, I just think their form would be better than Arsenal's form. I think Arsenal go to a big team, they don't look like getting a point against the big teams. I mean, they lost to United when United were like shit. We had Michael Carrick United, and that wasn't very good. And they lost to them. They bend over for the big teams, and let's face it, they have got lucky in a couple of games as well. Like, you look at the Crystal Palace game, they got a last-minute equaliser. That could have been a loss there as well. I'm not sure. I mean, should I call for another manager's edge? Should I call for Arteta to go? I think I should. I don't know, man. He's just not proven. I don't think he commands the respect that other managers in the league do, and I just don't see that. I don't know. I just don't see the fighting spirit in the Arsenal team.
I think Fieldzy was going to say something along those lines. I think
Arsenal deserve a bit of credit for the way they started the season, and to get to fourth almost at Christmas takes a bit of credit. But I think they have relied on a bit of luck, and they've relied heavily on beating those teams around them. So going forward, that I don't think they can rely on to finish in that place. They can't just beat the teams around them. They need to beat the teams that they should be beating.
I agree.
I'll guarantee that they'll beat Leicester in the next leg, or they might not beat West Ham at West Ham. So all those sort of games where they've managed to get a result to push them above them, can they do that again? Or will they maybe only draw to them and still be losing to the teams like Watford or Norwich, where they should be getting all 3 points? Yeah, it's a tricky one, and I don't think I could call where Arsenal were going to finish.
It's not a slight on them, per se, because obviously they're at this period in the club at the moment because obviously they've kind of gone for a rebuilding patch. The team's not fully there yet. Obviously, you've got young players like Smith Rowe, Saka, and Martinelli all playing, and that's brilliant to bring them through. But I think it's going to take at least a couple of years before we see Arsenal going, right, we're top 4 team now. We're going to put our authority on it, stomp it on there. I do think that they do have the potential, but I just don't think they're at that spot yet. And sometimes I feel like there's a lot of stick when they lose, which I guess isn't also granted, but when they win, it's also a bit over the top, I feel like, at the moment.
I
I
guess
think they're quite early on in their sort of rebuilding stage, and I think it shows like at the moment where there is a sort of lack of leadership,
Yeah.
where your captain at the moment is a striker who wasn't playing a couple of weeks ago and won't sign a contract. Like it's all a bit
Yeah.
strange, and there seems to be they've got all these young kids come through, and it's amazing, but there's because of the nature of this rebuild that it seems that there's like a imbalance of sort of leadership and experience and this young talent.
Yeah. Anyway, I guess we'll move on to. Have you? I don't think you do, but I guess we'll get to Liverpool, Newcastle. Did you guys catch this one?
I'll let Fieldzy start as
Yeah.
this team.
Yeah, well, I had Van Dijk missing because of COVID and Fabinho, who I'd say offensively probably one of the two key players for us, and I did get a bit worried when Newcastle scored, especially Shelby. It was quite a good goal actually.
Yeah.
But once that went in, we managed to get a few lucky goals. The Jota one, it's questionable whether it should have been a free kick or he should have stopped the game. But I feel like once the first goal went in, it was business as usual for Liverpool and just completely dominated it. And just want to say what a goal from Trent. Like he's only 23 and he seems like he's been performing incredibly for ages now.
Yeah.
And like I said, future captain right there. And like a lot more to come from him.
I think Trent and De Bruyne's goal this weekend was very similar in the way they hit it so hard, and the ball moved a little bit and like impossible to save, I guess. Yeah, Rod, what did you think when watching this game?
That's what I wanted to touch on. Quite a big moment, which for me, I don't understand how it wasn't looked at more, was obviously the head injury that led to the Jota goal. How did you boys see that? For me, play should have been stopped. It's a head injury, but we know Mike Dean likes to be the centre of the show, so it was never ever getting stopped by him. But for me, it should have been stopped.
I just think these refs are fucked. The inconsistencies every week. Like I saw argument on BT Sport between someone. It was probably someone like fucking. He's the guy who used to play for Spurs. No one likes him.
Jermaine Genius.
Yeah, I think it's Jermaine Genius, and the guy he was like, "What's the difference between like this foul and the fucking like the Kufal foul and the Trent one on Saint Maximin?" And he's like, "Well, it's because of the way they touch the player after. It's bollocks because if one's a penalty, the other's. If one's not, they're not. I think there's identical fouls, but yeah, Rod, in terms of the head injury, I just don't know what to say, because if the game was run in a way where it's like, you know what, they always blow for that, then you go, yeah, they stopped the game. But it's just inconsistent. There's no, like, surely there should be an official on the sideline who's looking out for stuff like this. As soon as they see it, they should be calling the ref up on it.
My opinion of it is there is quite inconsistent, where looking back at it, I'm not sure if it was a foul or anything, but the rule is in place. If someone's got a head injury, you stop the game for their safety. And if that means blowing up for potentially not a free kick, then that's the rules. And you can't have one ref stopping the game for a head injury whenever someone's down holding their head and someone just letting up play go on a bit longer because they may not deemed it a foul. Like, I think it's just a bit inconsistent, and I'm not quite sure on it. I don't think there should be inconsistencies.
Yeah,
Obviously, I'm not too sure of the rule, but even VAR should have maybe overruled it and said, "Oh, look, head injury should have been stopped," and then it's not a goal. But
yeah. Well, that's the whole debate. I didn't even think it was that much of a foul, because I think just two Newcastle players crashed heads or something. But I don't know what the rule is for stopping the game with a head injury. Like,
and neither does Mike Dean. So there you go. Yeah, just in terms of the game, guys, I feel like you could definitely see, the missing of like Van Dijk and Fabinho in this game. Although Liverpool dominated, I think a couple times Newcastle looked a bit dangerous on the break with Saint Maximin using his pace over the top. He found himself open a couple times, but obviously not much came of it. You're looking at the Trent tackle. I think it's a clean tackle, fair enough on me. Just like I thought the Kufal one was. I thought Liverpool were brilliant again. I think, to go down to the John Joe Shelby goal, I was a bit of a shock, and I thought Newcastle might have done a better job of holding Liverpool out for a while, but they didn't, and I think Liverpool deserved the win. I think you create your own luck in this game, and I think they do it time and time again.
I just think Liverpool just showed you a big performance of Liverpool. If they want to score, they will score with ease, and for me, they should have had more. And it's just a clear example of how good Liverpool are. And even though they were missing big players in Van Dijk, Fabinho, etc., they still put in a stellar performance and well worthy of the 3 points and dominated Newcastle, who probably didn't expect to get anything. But in regards to how they did play, they did show up, like, put up a bit more of a fight. And obviously it was a brilliant goal from Shelby, but I'm just really not sure if they're going to have enough to stay up.
Yeah, I think that's fair enough. I think we should move on now to the final... Oh, shit, what have I done? To the final game of Chelsea against Everton. And I think this game kind of summarised why I think Chelsea are already out of the title race, Rod. What is the real reason why Chelsea are out of this title race, Rod?
The real reason is that they haven't got the bottle. They come up against a poor Everton side on just the players, the youth. They're probably a bit harsh calling them poor. An inexperienced Everton side on a poor run of form, and at home, and they come out with 1 point, which obviously they should have took 3. Looking at the chances, looking at the stats, but this is a kind of like, for example, when Liverpool played Wolves. It looked like 1 point that's all they were going to get, but a winner's performance is grinding out and getting a result. And for me, that's what Chelsea can't do this year.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Jack, what do you think? What is the real reason why Chelsea are... I think it's fair to say they're already out of the title race. Do you, Jack?
I agree. I think Man City and Liverpool are just too good that you can't afford to be dropping points against in games where you need to be winning or you should be winning. And this one was as much of those games as it probably comes. Everton are performing quite poor this season and have so many players out with COVID or injuries where they've had to field a load of youngsters. It was like, and at Chelsea as well, it was gagging for Chelsea to get 3 points. And yeah. I just think they like quite a bit of firepower going forward.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Their front three now, and I can't see goals from this team. I don't know if I'm right saying this. Is Reece James still their top goal scorer?
Yeah, I think so, Jack. Yeah, I agree, Jack, because I think my point's a bit the reason I think it's already over for them is a bit of both of yours in general. I think that Chelsea have been inconsistent this season, just like the officials, and I think they started the league off as one of the best defensive sides, and now in their last 5 they've conceded 8 goals, and for a team of their quality they shouldn't be doing that. And I think it's down to just little switches off. I think a lot of players have been a bit overhyped this season, including Rudiger, who I think is a brilliant ball-playing centre-half who can drive with the ball, he can find all sorts of passes, very confident on the ball as well. He's a goal scorer, but I think he switches off sometimes defensively, and he goes missing a bit when he goes running around chasing the ball. But, it is a mixture of those things where I also think that up top they are lacking. I can't understand the side who's just let Tammy Abraham go on a free. I think they got a striker there at Southampton in Braha who could come in and do a decent job for them, because I think they're definitely missing a striker with Lukaku out now with COVID. It doesn't seem like they're going to have anyone up there soon. Werner, in my opinion, is not good enough, not clinical enough. They need a clinical striker. And for me, the Chelsea business model's let them down, because I just think selling Abraham was a big mistake. I think in this sort of game, if I told you that Tammy Abraham was up front, you think he's going to score a goal in this one. For Everton, I think they put in a really good shift. I thought the young players did really well in, was it Gibbons and or Dobbins and fucking Braithwaite. I thought really good effort from them. I thought Pickford was outstanding, and all in all, it's a brilliant point for Rafa's boys.
I thought, if I could jump in, I thought as well, for a brilliant assist from Gordon, I thought he was very, very good throughout the game, and
Yeah.
as of late, he's got a lot more chances, and he looks to be quite a young, exciting player.
Yeah. And, I kind of missed him out, but because he's almost like a first-team player now, it seems like, because he's been in there so many times. But, Jared Braithwaite with the goal. It was a decent finish as well from the lad. I think it came from a free kick, didn't it? Yeah, I think so, free kick. But yeah, it was a decent game and all. I just think Chelsea, man, I think they've really let themselves down. I think they had a team which really could have dominated the season. I think they've been unlucky with injuries and such, but I think when you look at the depth of the Chelsea squad, it kind of falls off drastically. Like when you go to their midfield, and Sol, in my opinion, I'm fucking glad United didn't get him in on loan because he's shocking. And also, you look at our midfield, it goes from Kovacic, Kante, and Jorginho to Barkley, Sol. I think they're lacking. I don't think Marcus Alonso is half the player Chilwell is going forward anyway. And I think they've let themselves down, guys. I guess was there anything else you wanted to talk about, Rod?
I think you nailed it. I don't think Chelsea. They're 4 points off City now, level on games, struggling in goal difference, and I think I don't think they're completely out of the title race yet, but they're slipping, and they're slipping quite fast. And like looking at the goal difference, Chelsea are on plus 27, and I mean they're only 4 off City on plus 31, but then you've got Liverpool on plus 35. So even after City's 7-0 win, Liverpool is still above them on goal difference.
Yeah, but for me, they've gone from 4 goals allowed all season to 8 in the last to 12 in the last 5 games, and for me, that was one of the best parts about Chelsea with this 3-back system, that they were so defensively solid. But they're starting to leak goals now, and with them not being too clinical up on the other side, other end of the pitch, it's just a recipe for disaster, in my opinion. Anyway, I think we should look at these upcoming games if they are to take place. We've got a lot of to be continued or to be scheduled or whatever it's called. But just get your... Oh shit, where am I now? I need to get the fixtures back up. Yeah, sorry. Just get your opinion now on some of these fixtures, because I guess we're going to the first game, Rod.
We are.
Villa against Burnley. It should be a decent game, yes.
I'm looking forward to it, mate, and I love going to the Villa, and now that we're playing brilliant, I love it even more. And obviously, first game on a Saturday at 3:00, which is a bit strange, and obviously the first of 2 games completely on the Saturday. But if I'm gonna have to go for a prediction, this is a game where I will be bitterly disappointed if we don't win. I think Burnley are going to have had a week rest, so they are going to be refreshed. But if we want to be shooting up the table, these are games we have to be winning. So I'm going to go for a modest prediction of 2-1, and I hope we play well, and I hope we just put in a good performance and we enjoy the day.
Yeah, I hope we do enjoy the day. Not get too shit faced, but have a good time. In my opinion, Rod, this is a game where I think Burnley are really going to struggle. I think defensively they're known for being a solid side defensively, but I think they're going to struggle under the press of Villa. I could see Villa really putting it on them. I don't think they have too much to offer. They're going the other way. I don't think Cornet's playing. I think he's been their standout player by far this season, and I just don't really see Mings and Konza struggling with the long balls up to like a Chris Wood or Ashley Barnes. I could see Villa winning this one quite comfortably. I'm going to go 3-0 Aston Villa. What do you think, Jack?
Well, I think that the only weak side that Villa have, where they've looked weakest, is on the counter-attack when they push their fullbacks really high up. And I don't think Burnley can offer any sort of counter-attacking threat. They're more of like a pump it long to whoever's up, whatever striker they've got up top at the time, and just hope for the best. I don't see them that troubling Mings or Konsa. They're both very physical, quick centre-backs. I think 2-0 Villa. I think they'll break them down eventually.
Yeah. Maybe a bit cagey for like the first 20-30 minutes, but I think they'll get a goal.
Very cagey, and then eventually they'll just wear them down with the press and just keep in possession.
Yeah, and it's very similar to Liverpool. Like, at first we don't get it, we'll get it eventually, and they just keep going. Next game's Leeds Arsenal. Jack, why don't you talk us through this one?
Well, this is one of those games where you say you think Arsenal should be winning these, but in the past they haven't. So I'm obliged to say that I don't think Arsenal will get 3 points here.
Oh,
So I think a 1-1 draw.
yeah, I could see that maybe. What do you think, Rod?
For me, this is a game that suits Leeds quite well. I think the way Arsenal set up,
The
they
softness.
put three in defence on when they're attacking, but 5 when they're defending. But I do feel Leeds can go at them. Their squad is very, very depleted, though. So they might start young Joe Gelhardt up front, and
He's been impressive.
he has. But like we were on about earlier, this is a game you expect Arsenal to win, and if they do want to be fighting for top 4, then this is a game they have to win. But I can see Leeds doing well, so I'm going to go for a draw. I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw.
Yeah, I'm tempted to say Arsenal to win it, just because, coming off the back of the West Ham game, but then that kind of epitomises what Arsenal really are, and they're soft, and I could see Leeds really getting into them, making it quite a dirty game. I could see, Arsenal players complaining to the referee a lot, asking for yellow cards, but I think Leeds might actually do them. I'm going to go 2-1 Leeds. I don't know why I'm so confident in them, because I'm very disappointed in them at the same time. Next game, Newcastle against City. I think you're going to see a similar sort of game to the Liverpool one. Other than the fact I don't think Newcastle will score. I don't think City will allow them the chance to even get remotely anywhere near the goal. Obviously, I did feel like St. Maximin was a bit dangerous against Liverpool. Didn't have as many chances as he would have wanted, but occasionally he did get the ball in the Liverpool half. I just don't see Newcastle really standing a chance in this one, and I think it could be quite high scoring again. Obviously, coming off the defeat to Liverpool 3-1, but the week before that they got battered by Leicester. I think it was 4-0. So I'll probably go with City 4-0 in this one. What about you, Rod?
This is when it rains, it pours for Newcastle, and they face obviously 2 title contenders in the current 2 games. I can't see it going well for Newcastle, and for me, I feel like City will be a bit more reserved in how they play, obviously away from home, wanting to conserve energy around the Christmas period. But this is a game I do see City quite comfortably winning, so I am going to go for a 2-0 City.
Yeah, I think that's good. What about you, Jack? Are you as confident as we are in the City?
So actually, exact same opinion. Business as usual for Man City. I don't see Newcastle standing much of a chance at all. I think Pep will just rotate the side as he usually does. Play anyone wherever they want to on the pitch and still get a result.
Edison up front.
Gundogan up front.
Yeah.
Bernardo CDM, and they'll still beat them, I reckon. I just think they'll just control the whole game, and I don't think Newcastle ever look like scoring, so I'll go 3-0 City.
I think that's actually a good point raised by you there, Jack, that, obviously City didn't have a game postponed, and if this one does go ahead, Pep is likely to rest a few players against Newcastle, as you'll see it as almost like a gimme game, probably. So you might have to think about that when you're picking your FPL side this week. Wolves-Chelsea. I see this game being... I think Wolves have got what it takes to beat Chelsea. I think they're defensively strong. I could see Chelsea struggling at the top end of the pitch, especially if they don't have Romelu Lukaku or a recognised number 9 up front. I don't think they'll have that either. I think they'll probably go with Pulisic again. I could see Chelsea maybe getting 1 goal, but I could see Wolves on the other end scoring, because I think they're not as strong defensively as they were made out to be at the start of the season. So I'm probably going to go with a 1-1 draw here. What do you think, Rod?
And when we talk about Super Sundays, this is a hell of a Super Sunday, which I'm sure I will enjoy hungover. Wolves-Chelsea. We were on about Chelsea earlier, and this is a game I can once again see him drawing or losing. But they are missing some big players in Lukaku, and I'm not too sure who else. Havertz did test negative, so he should be available. Kovacic and Kante was seen in training, so their defense you'd imagine should be a bit better. I'm gonna go for a 0-0 draw. To be completely honest.
Yeah, I think that's fair enough. What do you think, Jack?
Same prediction as Rodion. I think that from watching them, Wolves have looked one of the better defensive teams outside the top six. They really look quite a difficult team to break down. And they've had some real big performances from defenders. I remember Wolves versus Liverpool, Cody put in a sublime
block
performance
with his bollocks.
With
the Jota block with his bollocks.
Oh, yeah. That one specifically, yeah. And I think that Chelsea, with the players they're missing, I don't think they'll be able to break them down. So I was thinking 0-0 as well. They don't have sort of Divock Origi to bring off the bench and score.
Yes, I guess they don't. But Jack, why don't you talk us through your team going away to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium at the end of Super Sunday?
If it goes ahead, I think this could be quite a cagey game. I think it will be. I don't think it will be. I want to say that Liverpool will get some sort of control in the game, but I don't think they will. And I think there could be another scrappy one with Liverpool winning 1-0 quite late on.
Fair enough. I'll leave Rod till last. I'm going to go now. I think that Tottenham are going to start the game well in the first 10 minutes, actually maybe they're going to get hold in this game, and then from there on, Liverpool be the dominant side. You'll be waiting for Spurs to do something, but I just don't think they will. And I think Liverpool are going to win this 2-0, Rod. Maybe a goal towards the end of the first half and one midway through the second half.
Yeah, obviously, I completely appreciate those opinions, and the last time not Spurs did play does seem like a long time ago, and it's going to be interesting to see who does actually have COVID from obviously the team, who has returned, and how the overall fitness is, because they've had a long break, whereas obviously Liverpool only played yesterday. I think Spurs this year, don't really know where to put them. Antonio Conte will have had a couple of weeks though to work on his philosophy and his tactics, but I don't know. There's nothing really stopping Liverpool at the moment, and on an FPL point of view, I think Salah captain will still stand, because there's just nothing you can do to prevent Salah from scoring points. I'm going to go with a Liverpool win. It's going to be a modest 2-1 though.
Okay, yeah, I think we're all on a similar line. Liverpool winning that one, but maybe not going to be as easy at the start. So thank you for watching this video. We did record on Monday, I think it was. We recorded a Champions League, almost like predictions, and we ended up doing the Europa League draw as well. So if that's something you might be interested in, be sure to check it out on the channel. As always, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, see ya. Oh shit, I fucked it up. No! Right, bye guys.